did it take you to build up enough content to start posting?
I never had a queue of shorts. I kind of just, which sucks. I really wish I had like the manpower to like pump out, like have shorts on hand. But I've never had that. I've always just made a short, started a new one, then posted it, then a new one, then posted it. So right now I have nothing. Like I gotta put out a new video in 2 or 3 weeks, and I got nothing.
You could do a video about us chatting.
Yeah, I could.
So, how long does it take you to make one?
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I could just talk forever, dude. Here's the thing, like if I was to wait to the last minute and jam pack it all in as quick, like as fast as I could, probably like 6 days, which is if I had no, like barely any sleep and I did nothing but make cartoons. So
and these are like not like a minute long. These are like usually like 5 to like 8 minutes, right?
Yeah. Like the problem is, it's so funny because I recently got diagnosed with ADHD because I actually, after this whole YouTube journey I've been learning a lot about myself and like being my own boss. I didn't realize how incredibly difficult it was going to be because I have to like tell myself what to do, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna listen to me. Like,
nobody should listen to me. Why would I?
Yeah, like I'll listen to my boss at like, my jobs, but if I like get out of bed, I'll be like, fuck you, I'm going back to sleep. Like, so it's been really difficult being my own boss. And I thought it was gonna be easy, and it's really not easy. But I ended up getting tested for ADHD because I really can't sit in an office all day. I'm so bored because at Titmouse I would be running around and there was so much chaos, and I loved it and I thrived in that chaos. But making cartoons by yourself in office is a lot of the time it's really boring. Like not working with a team is really boring. So yeah. I had to learn how to. I'm learning actually now. Like I'm kind of struggling now with doing things on a schedule, like following a schedule instead of like, bullshitting all day, doing other things and then waiting till the last minute. What I wish I had was a coordinator, like literally someone to be up my ass and say, get this shit done. You're not going to bed until you get this shit done. I need somebody up my ass so bad.
And then be your own coordinator.
I know, it's like I was a coordinator, and you'd think if you were a coordinator you'd be good, but somebody with like an ADHD brain like me that's constantly needs to be like stimulated. That's why I love creating. But when it comes down to doing the in-betweens, or like, I don't even really do that many in-betweens, but mixing the audio and like all the boring shit, I'm really struggling with that. I wish hire someone to do it.
So you do 100% of the cartoon yourself, right? You don't have anybody else helping you. That's why you're feeling this kind of pressure of doing this.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll be able to afford getting somebody to do a couple of things for me. Like my last video, I have a scene where I have like 6 people sitting around in chairs. So I had somebody design, like just draw 6 people for me in those chairs. Like they're not animated. I mean, like the mouth and the expressions, I do all the expressions and stuff like that. But I just kind of paid somebody to put people in chairs for me. But it's mainly all by myself. So it's a lot of work.
Interesting.
You're almost getting to that status though that you can start like getting people to like jump on your train and like be part of your little crew and stuff. I feel like that's the thing that a lot of YouTubers end up doing later down the line when they start getting really big and they can start affording to like pay for help, like assistants and stuff, an editor.
Yeah, I'm not near that level yet.
I feel there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's complicated because I want to hire someone to mix my audio, but I don't because I want to mix it, but I'm too bored to mix it. It's like so frustrating. It's like,
so it's a weird balancing act for sure, especially when it's something that's so near and dear to you and something that comes directly from you. You want to have complete creative control over it, But I think at some point you'll be able to say, all right, I can let go of this portion of it. You know, I mean, that's what I'm learning of a lot of my friends who are artists who create their own things. They always get to a point where they're like, all right, I'm going to let go of this part. I'm going to let go of this part. I'm going to step back and I trust this person. You know, it's hard though.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely, I've been doing this for a year now, actually. It's been officially a year, actually. Today, like this month has been a year, and I'm still learning so much about being a YouTuber. It's such a wild ride. It's
So on the YouTuber thing, how was it? Well, I mean, there's so many questions I have. I know we've already been going for about an hour and a half, but I feel like this is the part that I was excited to get to. But like, first of all, what went into you getting all of these? Because your videos, some of your videos have like 4 million views. You put up a video, like 3 days ago, and it already has about 200,000 views. Like, how did you get to that status of being able to get those views on YouTube, and what was it like when you started getting them?
Yeah, I don't even know.
All right, there. Good night, everybody. No, I'm joking.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll try. Fuck, I just don't want to drag things out, but I'm gonna try and tell you like real quick how that started, how the viral shit kind of started. So I always have like, I wanted to make sure I had like a plan before I just quit my job or whatever. Besides being a lifeguard, like an actual plan to like make me feel confident that I was gonna have success on the platform, on YouTube. So I like I said, I studied like the community for like a good year and kind of tried to figure out strategic ways to get in before I mean, that's not even like really that great of advice, because I don't want to say like don't do anything for a year. Like I just genuinely didn't have time to do anything, so I just studied it.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well do it with your downtime. Like, you know, you want to get there eventually. What time do I have? Oh, not much. Let me use this little time I have to learn.
Yeah, like I was so depleted on my way home on the bus, like from work. Like I was like, all I can do is just study right now. I can't work, so on videos. So I just studied for so long, and I figured out that a lot of the ways people get big on YouTube is collabing. So collabing with a bigger YouTuber is a way to be like, you know, showing, let's say like a person with 10,000 subscribers collabs with someone with 100,000 subscribers. Now around 100,000 people are going, it's a whole brand new audience of people seeing this smaller YouTuber, and that could just jump up your views. And if your content is great, then not only are your views gonna jump up, but you're gonna get momentum on your channel because they're gonna keep watching your videos and keep watching your videos. So I started learning about, when I was studying, I started learning about like things about the algorithm, things about like how to get viral, whatever. So I learned that collabing is one of the biggest things you could do in this community, in the storytime animation community. And so I was like, how do I collab with a bigger YouTuber? Like, that's what I got to figure out. And I think I had 4,000 subscribers a year ago. So I was that's like considered a nobody pretty much. Like, I'm not gonna get in touch with somebody with 1 million subscribers. Like 4,000 subscribers is not enough to collab with someone with 1 million subscribers. So I was like, how am I gonna do this? So I figured out what Patreon was, and one YouTuber I really loved his content a lot. His name is Tim Tom, and I always loved his videos. I loved the way he executed, you know, his voice and stuff. So I found that he had a Patreon, and I saw one of the tiers on his Patreon said, you know, pay for this tier and you'll get 1 hour of writing advice with me, like YouTube writing advice with me.
Yeah.
And it's not an hour, a 30-minute phone call of YouTube writing advice. And I was like, wait a minute, like I can talk on the phone with this kid for 30 minutes about YouTube? Like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't care how much it is, like paying for this. Like, I will figure it out. And I think it was pretty kind of expensive. Like it was like $125 or something. And for me to do that when I was leaving my job was really risky and scary, but I knew it was like it would be one of the only ways, you know, like to get a collab is to pay. Like it makes sense. But it wasn't even for a collab. It was really just for writing advice. So I jumped on that and I paid for that. And I did another person's Patreon too, which didn't end up like really working out. But anyway, so I have that in my back pocket of like, okay, like I'm just making my odds better. Like I'm just finding ways to make my odds better. And I put out a video, you know, I would probably get like 4,000 views a video when I first, and then I put out another video and like maybe like 2,000 views. I was doing, you know, not super well or whatever. And a month goes by, Tim Tom didn't get back to me, and I'm like, shit, I gotta spend another $125 now. Shit. So another month goes by, and he still didn't answer me. I'm like, fuck, I really can't afford this.
Starter, he didn't answer you?
No.
His Patreon?
Yeah, he never responded. Like
on Tim Tam.
Did you pay that money?
And I was paying him, yeah. So I'm like, shit, like I can't afford this. So I was like, I messaged him like, hey man, just wondering if you want to hop on the phone for the call. So 3 or 4 months go by. I think it was like 3 months or something. And I was like, you know, Max, my husband was like, you gotta stop fucking paying for this shit. Like this is bad. Like, you know, everything it was bad. So Tim Tom got back to me and I was like, oh my God, it's him. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you signed up, blah, blah, blah. And we hopped on the phone and we had like over an hour conversation. And he gave me, oh my God, unbelievable advice. Like this kid's freaking smart. He knows what he's talking about. So he gave me a ton of advice that I still like follow to this day.
Yeah.
And
how to get views? Can you reveal this advice, or is it private Tim Tom and Lauren talk?
No. It was smart. Like one thing he said so much, but one thing he said was I asked him how to stop being so awkward when I'm recording my videos. If you look at like my first story time video, I sound very like low and awkward, and he's like, stand up, use your hands, like have a, you know, enthusiasm. And he's like, something he said to do was study stand-up comedians, which was so smart because stand-up comedians, not even just for talking, but for writing, study stand-up comedians, because for storytime animation, a lot of younger kids are watching them, so they have short attention spans. Like they'll click off your video in a second. If it's not entertaining them, if they're bored, there's a whole ton of thumbnails on the side that'll look a lot prettier that they can click on, and they'll click right off. So he was explaining to me, you gotta keep them entertained the entire time. Every second needs to be entertaining. And you know, with stand-up comedy, there's nothing dragged out. It's always all the information coming out of a comedian's mouth is always relevant, or like it has to do with the punchline, or it has to do with the story. So
yeah, at one point I remember hearing Jerry Seinfeld talk about how he would edit his act down to the syllable, because every syllable counted towards the punchline. So if there was an extra syllable in there, the laugh would be slightly smaller, so he would cut it out. So I guess like that kind of stuff matters.
Yeah. And that's exactly like what he was kind of explaining to me. And I started studying, oh man, what the heck's his name? Shit. Dude from SNL. Oh, forget it. I don't know.
So many SNL dudes.
Anyway, it's this dude that I don't know what I'm saying. It's this dude that is he's just, the way he talks was really, really good to study for writing stuff. Because my scripts for YouTube used to be really like long and dragged out, as you can imagine. Like I drag things out all the time. So how am I gonna write scripts that are short and to the point? So anyway, little things like that. He gave me great advice, and he said, "I'm so sorry you had to, you know, that I didn't get back to you. Like, what can I do to make it up to you?" I'm like, no, it's fine. He's like, let me like shout you out in my video or something. I'm like, okay, like okay, I'll do that. Like, I'm like, you want to do a collab? Like, I don't care, but like if you want, like I'm down. He's like, yeah. So he said he collabed with me on one of my videos, and he shouted me out because, again, like the little luck sometimes plays in there. He forgetting about me for like 3 or 4 months led him to feeling so bad that he shout me out at the end of one of his videos. And this kid gets millions and millions of views all the time. And he said, I hope you enjoyed my video, and go check out my friend L Cartoons. Here's a link. So it all started from there. Like, if it wasn't for him, not seeing my Patreon request, that never would have happened. Probably,
Yeah. So that's another example of you, like, I think, you being on the younger side, like using this digital format of networking and talking to people and viewing things online, like to your advantage, just like you did with Steven Silver. You took the class online, you contacted him, you talked to him, you made friends with him, you went over there, and that's how you got to LA essentially. And then same thing with, what was his name, Tim Tom, right? You contacted him through his Patreon, you talked to him on the phone, you got a shout out. So like that people that are watching that want to do a route similar to you, have their own storytime cartoon on YouTube, take action, talk to people.
And persistence too. You didn't give up.
Yeah.
And investment, that money that you did pay for that call for him on his Patreon, even though you felt like that was expensive and it was like throwing away money, it wasn't. It was an investment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. Exactly.
So after you got that shout out from Tim Tom, like what were your views like that next week?
So it was so cool. It's so funny because I was I think I was doing, my friend has a really well-known Instagram called Animation Hustle. I don't know if you guys heard of it, Animation Hustle, but he was interviewing me like that day, like on his Instagram. So like an hour after the collab got posted, like my subscribers were shooting up, like my views were shooting up, and like I actually have, like, it's live on my channel, like he's like interviewing me, and I'm like, oh my god, I just shot up to like 5,000 subscribers, and I'm like seeing it happen live as I'm talking.
Was it Animation Hustle? Is what it was called?
Yeah, Animation Hustle, I think.
So
Yeah.
within an hour of him shouting you out, he started climbing.
Oh, Tim Tom? Yeah, within an hour of Tim Tom shouting me out, I started climbing. And I was also like, you could see it like live in like a video of me being interviewed. I was like,
took that video down and watched that. It's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like it's cool. So I guess like the thing is though, I didn't like get super amounts of, like, it's not like all my success happened from one collab. That was my opportunity to get the momentum. So, the traffic coming to my channel from that shout out, at that point, it's up to me to keep the traffic and keep the momentum going. So like, when he shouted me out, tons of people were coming to my page. It was up to me to say, okay, is the video that I'm collabing with Tim Tom in, because Tim Tom said, we did a collab, go check it out. Is that video freaking good? Because if it's not good, I'm screwing up a huge opportunity here. Like, is this video entertaining enough? Like, is it great? So it was a good video for, what that kind of audience likes.
Mm-hmm. What video was it? Do you remember the video?
Yeah, it's not that good. I mean, it's called it's called I Lied to a Cop.
Okay. Featuring Tim Tom and Tabs.
Yeah. That's a whole nother story how Tabs got on there. She's another huge YouTuber. But I just talk all day. I can't talk all day. But Tabs was another person that was kind enough to collab with me. Also, she's awesome. But anyway, so like that's why, like, for anyone that wants to be a YouTuber, if you're watching, like, if you're lucky enough to get a collab with a big YouTuber or a shout out like that, don't screw it up. So make sure that the video that the person's, make sure your video is good. Like, because if your content isn't good, you can get a collab, you can get 5 collabs, you're not gonna get big on YouTube. You're just not. A collab isn't the only way. I mean, people think, oh, all I need is a collab and I'll be big, but it's not true. Like, you really have to have good shit on your page, because the way that the momentum, comes in is, this is what YouTube loves. YouTube loves when people are on their website for a long time. So if your videos are being clicked on constantly, like, if someone watches one of my videos and then they watch another one and then they watch another one, I'm the reason they're on YouTube for an hour. And YouTube wants to reward me for that. That's how the algorithm kind of works. Like that's part of it. So, you know, then they'll be like, okay, this person watched an hour of eLL cartoons today. Let's shoot her channel out to other people's recommendations, you know, their recommended videos. Let's she's obviously
understand that you can bring more eyes to the page. So they're like, all right, she gets eyes, let's put her over here.
Yes. So that's another thing. It's like, are you putting like a link at the end of your video for your next video? Like, are you setting yourself up for success? Like, are you putting your info in the description? Are you making your videos, you know, fast paced because people will lose, you know, interest fast? So,
I mean, everyone has ADD nowadays. We grew up on Nickelodeon cartoons, so you know that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's another thing where my ADHD kind of comes in handy is because I understand what's boring. I get bored easily, so I know how to make things fun the whole time. I know how to keep people's attention because I have a short attention span, so that, you know, it helps.
So I have a question. A minute ago you said you wanted to make sure your video was good when you got the shout out, because if your video was shitty and you got a shout out, it wouldn't do anything for you. So could you tell me, I mean, obviously it's subjective to an extent, but what constitutes in your mind a good video versus like something that wouldn't have been successful even if it had a shout out?
It's so hard because like for me, like my videos focus on, I try to focus on being funny. Like that's just my style. Like I try to crack jokes and be comedic. So my videos have to be funny. Like that's what people know me for, like, is to laugh. Like for some people in the community I'm in, they're more of like the relatable type where you love them because you love them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think there was this guy I watched who did something similar. Like, was it maybe Gabe Swar? I forget exactly who it was, but he did like you know, little stories of his childhood, and he would animate them as he you know. I was in the car with my mom driving.
I worked with Gabe on Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, really? I think I remember seeing, maybe it was him or maybe it was somebody else that.
I think.
No, he was somebody in the industry, and he did like these little videos of him, like with his family, and he animated them like stories growing up, and it was just mostly relatable content rather than hilarious.
Yeah, I want to see that. That sounds so cool. Exactly.
I might have named the wrong person in the like weird fractured memory banks in my head, but it was definitely like somebody who's in the industry who did stuff like that on YouTube.
Right.
But like that's YouTube apart from TV.
What's that?
That's what sets YouTube apart from TV. That's why it's such a great community, because people like watching the realism of it, you know, not like everything's scripted, you know?
Yeah, exactly, Sabrina. Like they fall in love with the personality of the YouTuber. That's why like a lot of YouTubers, I feel like a lot of YouTubers don't get opportunities on like TV and stuff like that, because it's confusing, because it's like a lot of their subscribers, like they'll just love whatever they do because they love that person. They love that person's personality. So like I'm lucky enough to, I feel like I have a good amount of people that just like kind of fell in love with me. And if I do kind of a shitty video, like I'll still be okay. But, you know, like YouTube is special in that way where like people just fall in love with the person, the personality of the person. So
it was Gabe, by the way. I just looked it up. It was Gabe Swar. They don't have any views. They have like maybe 13,000. But I think I discovered it maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, and it's called Life in the Analog Age, and it's just him describing his life growing up, and he's animating it.
I gotta check that out. It's sick. I love that. Shit, I love that.
Sorry, I know you're talking. I threw you off there.
No, I love it. I don't even know what I was saying. Shit. What was I saying? I'm sorry.
Come with us, shout us out, get us 1 million views. No, I'm joking.
All your names are on the screens.
So essentially, at this point, you're putting out a video. How often? Okay, you want to finish up? Go ahead.
No, right. You were saying what makes a good video. Like my point was like everyone has like a different genre. Like whether you're trying to be funny, you're trying to be relatable, you're trying to be whatever it is. I think what they all have to have in common is it does have to be somewhat like, it does have to be somewhat fast-paced, and not like it has to be like, but when I say fast-paced, I mean like keep a flow going, and don't definitely cut out the breaths. Like, you know how if you're watching YouTube, a lot of successful YouTubers will literally cut like any pause, any breath, they cut it out because they don't want to give you a reason to click off. They don't want to give you a second to think at all. They just want to keep going. So, I mean, try your best just to keep the audience engaged as much as possible. Don't give them a second to click off. Like whatever genre it is, just keep them engaged, keep them entertained as the entire time. And also,
as the old man in the call, I can tell you how terrifying that sounds to me.
Give me time, Brian. No breath.
Don't give them any time to think. Don't let them think about anything. Just keep going, Morty. Don't think about it.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah, just keep looking. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So, like, the two big things for us. So it's
all right.
Find your niche, whether it's comedy or relatability. Hone that niche, and then don't give them a reason to click off.
Yeah, and be your. Oh, well, obviously it's the biggest one, but YouTube's all about personality. And if there's something about YouTube where the audience really feels when you're holding back or you're not being yourself. It's really crazy. Like, people can feel it through the screen. So just, you gotta learn how to be real, and just, everyone has stuff about them that's unique and special, and that like they're known for with their close friends, where they like love, like people just like, oh, that's, you know, like that's Sabrina, like that's so Sabrina, or like that's so Nick, like, or whatever. Like, just be
so Raven
person, like be that person that everyone just like fucking loves, and other people will love it too, because it's real, it's organic, it's genuine. And that's what YouTube's honestly all about. If you look at all like the like really successful YouTubers, they're all people that are just so good at being like genuine to the camera, and it's hard at first. But another good thing Tim Tom taught me was when you're talking to the camera or whatever, with cartoons at least it's easier. If you're telling a story, you know, instead of sounding scripted or tell a friend or talk on the phone, just talk to a friend. You'll be so natural. Like, I've done that like before. I don't do it anymore, but I used to be on the phone, record myself as I'm on the phone. It was a lot of freaking editing, but I sounded so natural and like fun and genuine because I was. I was on the phone with my friend, you know? So
if you try to like just stare at a camera and record, especially when you're doing like voiceover content that's supposed to sound like a story, it's probably gonna sound too forced and artificial.
Yeah. You gotta learn how to be yourself, and it takes time. It takes practice. It does.
Yeah. So a couple technical questions that just popped in my head. I'm curious, a couple things. First off, how often do you put out a video?
I try every 3 weeks.
Every 3 weeks. And you find success doing that? Like, you think that's like normal for a storytime animator on YouTube every 3 weeks?
Depends on how complicated. Oh, kitty! What was I saying? It depends how complicated your videos are. So like, for example, like the biggest YouTuber in the community, Odd One's Out, he's ridiculous. Like his views are insane. His productions are a lot more like intense than someone like mine. So the Odd One's Out has like a team working with him. Like, he has people that help him with it. So his videos will take a month, I think, around a month to make, but that's with a team and stuff. And he still gets a ton of views. Like, his audience respects that his videos take this long.
Yeah.
Because that's just what, you know. Yeah. Like,
something higher production value.
Yeah. Higher production value is gonna take longer. For me, I try to keep things really doodly, because that's more of my like. That's how I have fun making cartoons. I don't like being too serious with the with the quality. So I'm trying really hard to keep my backgrounds really loose and sketchy, and not really try so hard on the backgrounds. Like for me, like I want the expressions and the
Story.
the story, yeah, exactly, to be best quality. So
Storytelling. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So another technical question. What do you use to animate, to record? Did you start off using just like your phone and your computer, and did you slowly get better equipment, or like did you start off pro right from the get-go?
Yeah, I mean, I bought this freaking thing. I bought this camera. I don't know why I bought a camera. I think I wanted to be a vlogger too. So I have a vlog channel too, and I do both. Like my vlog channel is kind of my outlet, because I love like doing real life shit too. Like,
yeah,
I kind of use my vlog channel when I'm getting bored of animating, and I go back and forth. But I bought this, and I kind of use the microphone on this camera. But you don't need. I mean, I think having a good quality mic is important. But you don't necessarily need like the best of the best equipment. Like, it really is all about story. It really is. But it's really nice to have a good microphone.
Do you animate in Flash or in Harmony, or what do you use?
Flash. I use Flash.
Cool.
Yeah.
And are you and you're kind of harkening back to your days at Brookdale with your animation class? Is that where you started learning how to use Flash?
No, I actually learned how to use. I technically learned. I had a Flash class in AI, but I didn't learn shit. I actually learned how to use Flash from the animators at Titmouse. Like, I would bug them. I'd be like, "Hey, after work, do you have time to like teach me a couple of things in Flash?" I was like so annoying, but they would teach me. And actually, my good friend Chrissy Felmuth taught me Flash. She's an animator at Titmouse, or not anymore at Titmouse, but she's an animator.
Facebook. I don't think I know her, but I think she friended me on Facebook at one point. So
it's such a small industry. You've probably heard of her. She's worked at a lot.
I know Chrissy.
You know Chrissy?
Mm-hmm. This Flash community is also super small as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Chrissy's the best. She taught. She's a professor at SVA in New York too.
Okay. That's where my writing partner went to SVA. The guy that used to study Steven Silver with me, like late at night and stuff like that. Yeah, he's a SVA grad. He's a cartooning major, not an animation major.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, it's a great school. So I guess we've gone for about 2 hours. I feel like there's so much more we can talk about with this YouTube stuff. But I mean, is there any like big things we want to hit before we like start wrapping up? Because I definitely feel like if we wanted to, we could go a lot longer, but I don't want to. Usually it's about 2 hours, like, I mean, if you guys want to keep going, I'm down to go.
Should I do the intro again, or are we good to go?
No.
All right.
Oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
let's
We're
go.
good.
So there was an intro, and then there was about 45 seconds to a minute of awkwardness. That will serve as our musical intro today, just us rambling about nothing. And now, here we are.